Hey y'all, welcome back to Mirror Expressions. Expression. Express yourself. Okay, anyway. Alright, y'all. This is a channel where I take a little bit of time to share myself with you all, and I invite you all to come in and do the same with me. A couple of things I need y'all to go ahead and do up top. Hit that thumbs up button, go over there and hit the subscribe button, and also drop me a mirror emoji in the chat to let me know that, hey, I'm doing A1, that you have looked in the mirror and you feel fabulous about what you see looking back at you. And if not, as always, y'all know I am going to encourage you to do what you must to get back to a healthier you, so that when you look in that mirror, yes, okay, you are A1 with what you see looking back at you. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and dive right on into it. I know I'm a little late with these reviews, but I had like a lot of them that I was trying to get to in one day and trying to upload them all at the same time. And I should have just did one at a time and uploaded one at a time like that, instead of just kind of piling them all up together. But anyway, so it just seems there's so many shows that happen on Wednesday. But so I'll plan that out better next Wednesday. So anyways, we are Married at First Sight, season 15, episode 16. This isn't Best Friends at First Sight, right? Yeah, this was just kind of like one of the filler episodes. It's not a whole lot to it, so I may not get as detailed as I usually do. But I'm gonna make sure I give y'all the highlights. Definitely make sure I do that. And also, this was the episode where they went and talked to their friends. Like, this is the episode where this is the last time they see each other before decision day. So they're every person's talking to like their friend and their family, trying to get advice on if they should stay or not. So that is this episode. All right, so it's 4 days until decision day, right? And we kind of just get a glimpse of some of the people. Like, Mitch is with his nieces, cuteness overload, so adorable. And he asks them like, should he stay with Kristen or not? One is just like yes, and one is like no. Then they go over to like Justin and Alexis, and for some reason Justin was eating something and spitting it back out in his hand and then feeding it to the dog. Just nasty, I tell you. And then we see a glimpse of Stasha, and she's just kind of saying that she doesn't know how to converse with Nate without triggering his insecurities, and so she's just kind of exasperated with it all, or frustrated, or flustered, or whatever you want to call it. You know, she's kind of like at her wit's end, and you can tell like this is really bothering her. So anyway, so then we see Mitch, Kristen. They're like having their little alone time. Kristen is giving Mitch a face mask, and he in turn gives her one. And then he mentions, I think Kristen said something about, oh, this would be so crazy if we had sexy time with these masks on. And then Mitch is just like, well, do you know what body means? Like BAWDY? It means humorous sex. And so they have a good old kiki about that, and yeah, nothing. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. This episode was just not giving much. Okay. So anyway, Sasha, she ends up meeting with one of her friends, and she just kind of, and like I said, this is when they're all talking about the marriage or whatever. So she said, you know, she feels like she's in a different place emotionally than Nate, and that she kind of brings up the fact that Nate had lived with a girl for like 2 years at one point in time, but he never was in love with the girl like the girl was in love with her. I'm sorry, with him, but he was never in love with her. And so she's afraid that that would happen to her. And she's just like, she doesn't want that to happen. She doesn't want to be with Nate for years and years, just going through the motion, and he never falls in love with her, right? So then Nate, we see him FaceTiming like with his dad and one of his friends, and he's kind of talking about the whole same thing, like as far as like moving in and his fears surrounding that. And so, his dad was just basically, everything's not going to be perfect. Then he brings up like her age and wanted to have babies, and basically he's not ready to have babies. And I don't think he has really voiced that to Stasha. He's kind of making up all these excuses. Oh, fun and babies don't go together. And I think you just need to be straight up, period, point blank with her that, hey, I'm not ready to have a baby in this moment. I know you are, but I'm just not ready. But anyway, so yeah, he ends up saying that babies and fun, they just don't go together. And his dad was just like, absolutely, you can have children and have fun. So, he was just basically like, oh, okay, and his dad did say that he hopes that they will work out. Lindy is talking with her sister over Skype or Zoom or FaceTime on the laptop or whatever. But so she's kind of just telling her how rough of a time she and Miguel has had it since like the couples retreat. And baby, clearly that sister was distracted. She had her own stuff going on in the background, dealing with her kids and her husband, and because she could not focus on Lindy. Here go Lindy. Oh, don't let Miguel hear you doing that. And the sister was just like, why? And she said, because he doesn't like that. He'll get upset when you're distracted or whatever. And so yeah, so that just kind of brought her into how, how rough the things have been. She said that she feels like when she does something wrong, Miguel shuts down. And and the sister was just pretty much like, I ain't got no advice for you. I'm sorry, that just tickled me so much because because it's like, what is the point of you calling your sister if she ain't trying to give you no advice? That's the whole point of these conversations, to talk to your friends and your family to get some advice, or maybe help them process through your feelings and your emotions concerning the marriage. And she's just like, basically, I ain't got no advice for you. But she really did end up turning around and giving her some, even though she said that. But so yeah, she was just like, basically they need to figure out their dynamics, especially when it comes down to who needs the most care during a critical time. You know what I'm saying? And so Lindy starts to cry, honey, while they was on the phone. And I was just like, yeah, doggy, you know what, Lindy, I'm sick of seeing you cry. It's like she and Justin have swapped places. Like it used to be him we saw crying all the freaking goddamn time. And now it's her. Anyway, that was basically all. Her sister did say, she was rooting for them to continue and make it through. So Kristen, she meets with one of her friends, and she kind of just says going into decision day, she's at peace, which I think is very contradictory because later on we hear her keep saying, I don't know, I'm nervous and blah blah. So anyway, but she did say she was at peace because she was able to get everything off of her chest. And so she said it's a hard decision to make because there's a lot of good she sees in Mitch, but she wants Mitch basically to ask her to stay. She's waiting on Mitch to kind of declare his feelings for her, and that in turn would make her say yes. she just said she kind of needs that validation just because of how things started off with them at the beginning, with him saying that, he wasn't attracted to her. So her friend said, well, do you have the time to give him the opportunity to change? And she was just like, what if you stay married and then it doesn't work out? And so, Krista gonna say, well, I can't remember. She said something to the effect about, well, then her eggs just gonna dry on up or something like that. I said, honey, Kristen and Stasha both just need to go on over there and freeze their eggs, because both of them kind of like in a pretty iffy situation, and they kind of getting on up there in age. I think Stasha is the oldest woman, and I think that's gonna be their best bet. Go on, freeze their eggs, that way that they won't feel so pressed to go get these babies out. And then when they are ready, they already have some good, viable eggs. And then, sure, if they want to, they gonna get somebody to carry them just, or they can go carry it themselves, whatever. But, yeah, that's what they need to do. That's what they go. Oh, damn, I'm tired of hearing about them. And I get, real life problems, though. Real life problems. Because I think if I was their age, because I had the age cut off, too. Mine was at 30. And I always said, well, if I had no kids by 30, now I'm not going to have any, you know what I'm saying? And then the older I got, like the later I moved up into my 20s, as I was itching towards that 30-year mark, I was like, well, if I don't have any by 35, oh, so I get it. Anyway, Alexis and Justin, they both end up FaceTime. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know how this weather change. It'll get me. I'll be on here crying and snotting. Y'all just be thinking I'm having a whole meltdown. It ain't nothing but these sinuses getting me. But anyway, Alexis and Justin, they both end up FaceTiming with their mothers, right? And so Justin's talking to his mom. And I found I was able to kind of see the resemblance to it with them as they were FaceTiming or whatever. I couldn't see it before. I always thought she looked like the older brother that we saw, the one that raised Justin. But anyway, I was kind of seeing it now. So anyway, there was just a insert. So Justin's, telling his mom he gave away the dog Maya. And he did it because he thought there was going to be an automatic yes from Alexis. I said, see, Justin, see, you played yourself right then and there. You played yourself. Because, this whole time he kept saying, I'm doing this for our marriage. I'm doing this to help better our marriage. I'm making a choice as the man in the relationship to blah, blah, just a bunch of BS when you really did because you thought that was going to give you automatic yes from Alexis. And you're wrong for that. You're wrong. So, yeah. That's on you, boo. So, he says, he was at a no, but now he's not sure. He's feeling a little different. And the one thing he said, though, that he needs from Alexis is that he needs to feel desired by her. And he's scared that he won't please her in the bedroom. Yeah, why when he said that mama was just like, oh, you need to get freaky. I said, child. Could I be my mother, dear? First of all, I wouldn't be calling her, talking about my sex life with her, and then to turn around and tell me, for her to tell me, oh, you need to get freaky. Oh, no. I know. So over with Alexis. It is, sir. Did anybody else peep this too? Alexis' mama came ready for that camera, baby. Mama had on a full red gown and hair laid and makeup. I said she was ready for her little camera time. Oh, child. Anyway, Alexis said, that he's in his head too much talking about Justin. And so she said, she's just struggling now. And how can they keep moving forward if they're like in their own little bubble with the training wheels on? Like they have the experts, they're in this controlled environment, kind of, so to speak. And what's going to happen? Like once the experiment is gone and the training wheels are off, then what? And so her mom said, I don't want you to stay just because you're a runner. So basically, don't stay just to kind of prove to yourself that you can stay in a relationship and not run. She's like, I really want you to stay because that's where you really want to be. Mitch, he meets up with his brother and he tells him that he's kind of on the fence. And I'm just like, Mitch, why the hell are you on the fence? You got a whole woman that's really trying to make it with you. You got the nerve to say you on the fence? Dude, like... So anyway, he brings up the couples retreat and how he says, that's the most fun he's had with Kristen. And that's the Kristen he likes to see. And I'm just like, yeah, because she's at the fucking stage to me. If you ask me, she was just really one studied. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm so flippant. So anyway, he keeps talking about these two separate lives, the married Mitch and the single Mitch. I'm just like, see, that's the problem right there. That's the problem. You gotta commit, Mitch. You can't sit there and straddle that goddamn fence. You gotta pick a side. Either you're gonna be single and go on live your life however you want to live it in that roach fested house of yours or apartment, whatever you lived in. I don't know. But it was not livable. It looks like it needs to be condemned. But anyway, either you go ahead and go back to that life or you're going to be married, Mitch, and you're going to have to make some changes. You're going to have to be in. There's just in any, I'm not going to even just say in a marriage. It's just like in a relationship, period. There's going to have to be some give and take, some reciprocity. That means on both ends, Mitch. So you keep talking about you want somebody to just accept you for who you are. Well, obviously who you are is not working right now to be in a relationship, or you will already be in one. There is nothing wrong with change. That means their growth is happening. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Mitch. His brother thinks, that they make a good team, and that he doesn't understand how rare it is to, find somebody like that. And so Mitch, he agrees that, yeah, they do make a good team, but that he's not in love with her. And so the brother was just like, maybe you can get her to just say yes on the notion that you wanted to continue and just see where things go. Basically, without a definite yes from Mitch. And I'm just like, so you really hoping that Kristen would just settle for your brother. Okay. So anyway, we see the couples, they all get together on these little go-karts and they're just going around the city. Just thinking typical go-kart side by side, except for Justin and Lex. They had to get a different kind. I'm just gonna have to assume it's because Justin is so tall. So like it's a little longer and it has a front seat and a back seat versus side by side. Right. They look like they had a good time with that or whatever. It was just a nice thing for them all to do. And so then afterwards, they all kind of get together and just talk and eat and talk. And so Miguel just brings up how the last week had been very challenging for the two of them, and how he started to have some serious doubts. And so all I could think was all these folks looking plump cold, like they put all of them huddled up and shaking and turning red. And I'm just like, oh Y'all know where y'all live in. Y'all know. Y'all in a place where your weather gonna change frequently, and then y'all sitting up there on the freaking water. You couldn't tell me y'all didn't know where y'all was supposed to be ending up. And I should have just went on and dressed accordingly, or brought you some coats, or did whatever you had to do. Because this ain't the first time y'all been out there in that weather looking cold like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, do better, y'all. Sheesh. Anyway, Joseph said he's discovering, that he stays in his head a lot. And he said it just hit a little differently to hear that from his mom or whatever. So Nate says that Stasha and him need to learn how to communicate better. And Stasha says that he lacks emotional or life experience, and that it irritates her at times. And so, she kind of just gave an example of how, he doesn't trust when she says something. It takes for somebody else to say the same thing for him to be like, oh, okay, I get it now. So then Mitch said that they have some more exploration to do as far as he and Kristen are concerned. And Kristen said, like, if she verbalizes the things, if he verbalizes the things that she needs to hear, then it will be a definite yes. And in her confessional, Lindy is just like, basically, Kristen has laid it out like in as plain as terms as she can. She done gave him a whole bullet point list of what he needs to do to get a yes, and he is not gonna do it. Kristen can do better. And I was just like, and she can. So Mitch and Kristen, they go out to dinner. We're gonna see all the couples have their little last supper before the men leave the apartments or whatever. So Kristen and Mitch, they're out to dinner. And she was telling him, how grateful she is for the time that they've had. And she wants to know what he thinks their life would look like if they both say yes. And he basically wants them to be two separate people. Like, Mitch, there you go with that on the fence crap again. Like, you cannot have it both ways. Either you're going to be married or you're going to be single. And all I could think about when he was talking, I said, that doggone noise. And we see how that ended. So, yeah, they're not gonna work. Kristen said, she can't function with blurred lines like that. And I'm thinking, like, that's right, Kristen. Let him know your boundaries, and he can either make some efforts to move forward, or he can stay in that same crappy place and be by himself. But y'all know Kristen always kind of backpedals after she done put her foot down. And I'm just like, okay, girl, sit yourself out. So he ends up asking her, if she says yes, what he asks, what I'm trying to see. He says that what if he says yes, but that he's not sure that they're going to make it? What does she think then? He says yes, even though he's not quite sure that that's where he want to be or whatever, that they're going to make. What does she think about that? And this is what I mean. Because then Kristen just like, what? I'll take what I can get. Really, Kristen? Really? Like, no, you don't just take what you can get like that. It's just not. Oh, You put your hands. No. Oh, but that was all I was thinking. No, like, girl, get your life. Like, no, stand firm in your boundaries. You said you don't like them blurred lines, and it's okay to put them boundaries. I don't like them blurred lines, and I'm not gonna accept it. So either you step up to the plate or you not. Get gone and let that be that on this. So anyway, He did go on to say that he's afraid to lose her. And I said, oh, so what you really want to do is just string her along while you figure your ish out. Basically, get the F out of here, Mitch. And I said, Chrissy, you better not. You better not. So Justin, no, next they go out to their dinner. And so he ends up surprising her in like this garden where there's like sunflowers, and he gives her a bouquet of long stem sunflowers. And he said because it's Lex's favorite flower. And hey, I listened to you, girl. So he goes on, he apologizes about being in his head. So Lex says, that's the problem for her. That 10% is kind of going away now that he's admitted it, because that was the biggest part of that 10%. And I'm just like, yeah, right. So Lex ends up in her confessional. She said, she wants to believe that her husband wants to improve, but she kind of thinks that he could just be giving her lip service. So she asked him, like, what does she need to do? And so he said that he wants to feel desired. He wants her to initiate sometimes when it comes to intimacy, because then he could be more comfortable and in turn be more freaky. I said, see, right there. Justin was talking all this big game at the beginning of the season, how women don't want him before his package, and because of that, he took a break and decided to be celibate. Baby, I just really think Justin was a virgin. It sounded just more and more like it, because he talking about he needs somebody else to take control, and that's gonna make him feel comfortable. That's what people do when they're not sure about something. They want somebody else to take control until they gain their confidence. It was like, yeah. So anyway, he tells her, that his mom told him about being freakier. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So, again, it's like, and Lex just thought that was the funniest thing. So, anyway, at the end of the day, she says, she still has their doubts and that they may be better off as friends. Hence, the title, this is not best friends at first sight. So, we see Miguel and Lindy at dinner, and he apologizes again for his behavior on the retreat. He says it scares him sometimes that because she has such a strong personality and whatnot, and that she can be very theatrical. Yeah, but I'm just thinking like, you can too, Miguel. You can too. You might not be as animated, but yeah, you can too, boo. So anyway, he goes on to just say how it takes a lot of him out of him to deal with this sometimes, and he just doesn't know if he want to deal with that day in and day out from her. So Sasha and Nate, they're eating, and Nate says he wants to know if she's all in or not, and what are some of her flaws. And I'm thinking like, Nate, man, are you just trying to make conversation for the sake of having something to converse? Because at this point, I know you are aware of what some of her flaws are just by her telling you, and also some that you have just peeped for yourself within these last 8 weeks, brother. So anyway, she says, I've shared them all with you. And so she turns around then and asks him, well, what about the love word? Like, where are you with that? And so, she's still pushy. She's still pushy with this love stuff. And so he said, it's too early, but the love is growing. And he doesn't want to force it. He says he can't even walk around naked in front of her because he's shy. I said, Nate, bye. We have damn near seen you and Stasha get it on in like the past 4 or 5 episodes. Like, is on the edge of being some soft PORN at this point. Like, but you talking about you don't feel comfortable walking around naked in front of her. So anyway, Stasha says, that she feels he may never have that feeling of love since he's never had it before. And she says she doesn't want to be in a loveless relationship with him. Just going through the motions, right? So when she said that, he said that hurt his feelings and whatnot. He feels like he's not going to ever be able to make her happy or to ever please her. So for him, that's a red flag. So Stasha said in her confession, he's just not listening. He's triggered. And I was just like, yeah, because you keep going the same place with him about this love, and he's already told you he's not there yet. So just let it be, girl. Let it be. That's why he triggered. So anyway, he ends up bringing up the tattoo. Does this not mean anything? Like, does this not show you my commitment? And so she said, she wants to feel that burning love and desire. And he said, I feel like I show you love every day. And she was just like, I do. And so he was just like, so what's missing? And I'm like, what's missing, Stasha? I'm relate on that. And you said he is showing you what is missing. Here she go. Love. Oh, Stasha. Girl. The man said, I'm done. He gets up and walks out. So he was like, I've done more than, because, he did. He get up and walk off, and I don't know if the producer probably told her to go and follow him or something. But y'all know how they do. So anyway, so they're back together and talking. And so he said, he's done more than enough to prove his feelings and his commitment. And he tells her he feels like they are in this endless type of cycle. And I'm just like, that's what it seems like. That's what it's coming across, Nate. Now, I have to say, I'm with you when I'm with you, and it does seem like that, because I can tell you, we the viewers are tired of Stasha hounding you about saying you love her. So anyway, she said, she doesn't agree. And then he just period point blank says, I don't love you. And it's going to take time for me to get there. Which he's been already saying that. So, and she just says, I feel like, she says, I just want to feel like we're working toward love. And he's already kind of told you that too, Stasha. Like, I'm kind of really with Nate. Like, what more is it going to take? You know what I'm saying? So he says, well, why don't you feel like that? And so he says, like, I feel like, she says, like, I feel like you like me, but then we're just going through the motion. And so he says, well, what happens when we feel it's not enough? And then he says, I'm going to be stuck with you. And so Stasha's like, then don't be stuck. And he says, I don't want to be married to somebody who is never satisfied. And he says he's just tired of proving himself. So Kristen and Mitch, they're having their last night together. She wants Luna to come and sleep with them. And she says, that she's confused and emotionally exhausted about thinking about should they stay together or not. Mitch tells her that she's taught him a lot and that he does love her. He's not in love, but he's not in love with her. And she says she definitely cares about him and that sometimes it's more of like in a romantic way, but that she's just trying to figure things out. Lex says it's been a long 8 weeks, feels more like 8 months. And she says she doesn't know what decision to make. She says she doesn't know if it's because he had this realization that he's in his head too much, a little too late. And I'm just like, okay. So she done latched on to this. Whatever he came to her with what his problem was, she's latched on to that so she could use it against him. Because before that, she was not harping on this. He's in his head too much. He's in his head. And it's just like now that he's kind of come back and said that that's been the problem for him. Like this whole episode, that's all she been harping on. See, I've been trying to tell you. That was my biggest problem. You're in your head. And so I'm just like, oh, yeah. So anyway, yeah. She said she wants them to work out. I'm your number one fan, baby. Girl, stop. So Stasha said, you know, she's exhausted. She thinks that Nate's having tantrums and not utilizing the tools that have been given to them. She feels that there are going to be times when she needs reassurance. Now, peep this. She says it's going to be times when she needs reassurance, and he's just not been willing to give that to her. So she asks her, what does he enjoy about being married to her? Y'all, why this man took it took forever. I was finna try to put a quantifier, but I'll just say it took forever. He was like, he looking around like, hey, do you not know what you enjoy the most about being married to her? So then he ends up finally saying, well, her friendship or whatever. So she said, you know, she has no regrets, and he said he doesn't either. And she said, well, what about you losing your shit on me, basically? And so he apologizes, and he says he regrets how he acted in that moment. And he said and so she asked him, like, she's still harping on it though, you know. And I get that you want those type of situations to be better, but I just felt like in that moment was the wrong time to kind of just keep harping on it. So then she kind of, she asked him, well, is it going to continue to happen? And he's just like, no. And then she's like, well, what about the tools, utilizing the tools that were given to us when you're upset? And he was just like, you know, I understand. I did come back and use the tools. No, but you didn't use it in that moment when you were mad. You're supposed to use it in that moment. And he was like, but I came back, Stasha, an hour later. I held your hands. I looked you in the eyes. I apologized, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, but no, you were not in the moment. That's when you're supposed to use them, in the heat of the moment. And see, I was just like, see, moments like this, like sometimes you got to know when to pick and choose your battles, Stasha. I don't think Stasha has learned that. And I get that you want him to utilize these tools that in the moment, of course, that is the best way. But maybe it's hard to just immediately change something. But if you at least see him trying and making a difference, that means he's working towards those goals. So, you know, a little maybe positive reinforcement would have been better. Like, hey, babe, I really loved how you were able to come talk to me after the blow up. And I know it didn't happen immediately in that moment. But, hey, it only took you an hour. So maybe next time it won't take as long. You know what I'm saying? That little positive reinforcement. But anyway, but she's hounding him about using it in the moment, and he just kind of said, you know, it's hard for me to use tools when I'm in a heightened emotional state. And so he just says that he too needs positive reinforcement, and she's not giving it to him. Now, just remember when I told y'all to put a pin in that, when she said she needs reinforcement and he's not giving it to him, well, she's kind of reciprocating the same thing. And so they have to both learn when each other are needed, when one another are needing that, or when they're needing those reinforcements, and be able to provide each other. Like, Stasha has to know it's not just her needing things too, there is Nate needing things as well. So yeah, so anyway, and then he says that he said he ends up just kind of tying it into his insecurities of not feeling good enough. And so he said she's triggering him, and he doesn't want to be unhappy, and then that he would choose happiness over marriage any day. One day into decision day, and Lex asked Justin if he's going to miss her. He was just like, of course, girl. You know, I ain't always doing that, girl. And so she said she feels like he would stalk her if she said no. So anyway, Yeah, I'm not finna go through all the rest of that. I'm trying to see. Cause this is just the men packing and leaving. They're saying their last little goodbyes. Let me see. One big thing, Kristen and Mitch have another talk about what things will look like after decision day. And she's just like, well, they're gonna be separate, you know. And Mitch is like, well, that's not what I meant. I meant kind of like together, but not living together. And I'm just like, yeah, it's a no. It's a no. So the men all leave, whatever. They all kiss a goodbye. Everybody except for Lex and Justin. Like, she did not kiss their man. It clearly he wanted to, and she just looks up at him and did not give him that. Nate said this last week out of the 8 has been the hardest for him. And when he leaves, Stasha want to be all dramatic about the leaving and slap her little behind down that door. I was like, girl, stop. And yeah, that was pretty much the end of the episode. Let me just go and hit y'all with who I think was going to make it, who I think is not going to make it. And then I want y'all to drop in the comments and tell me y'all feedback. Let me go back to the very first episode. I said that I don't think any of them will make it except for Lindy and Miguel. I said those were the only two that were on my radar to make it, to have the possibility to make it. We know Morgan and Ben, they already gone. I was right about them. Justin and Lex, don't think they're gonna make it. I think she's gonna definitely say no. I think he will say yes. Like, if he goes first, he's definitely going to say yes, I think. Who else? Mitch and Mitch and not Lindy. Mitch and what's the child name? Kristen with a Y. Mitch and Kristen with a Y. I don't think they're gonna make it. I think it's gonna be a no. And surprisingly, I think it may be a no from her. It may be a no from both of them, because Mitch is just straight stupid. You know what I'm saying? He don't really see what he got in front of him. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to make it. As far as Lindy and Miguel, I think they both will say yes. But I don't think they're going to make it. I think probably by the reunion, they will have broken up. And then as far as Sasha and Nate, I think it's going to be a yes for them. And I don't think they're going to make it either. I think they will make it for a little bit. Like, I think they're going to definitely make it beyond decision day. Like, I'll give them a couple of years in this thing. But I don't think Nate will ever get over those feelings like that he's not good enough and that he can meet her needs. I think that he will always have that pressure from Stasha. And so he'll just never feel adequate. And I think that's going to bother him. But he's going to try to get over that, because I think he'll probably weigh it up against the life he's afforded to live with her. But I think finally at some point he's going to be like, I can't do this anymore, and ask for a divorce. Not wishing any of this on any of them. Well, some of them I just definitely don't. And definitely Stasha, I definitely think she needs to find love. She deserves it. She is definitely a boss in her own right, but I think she's gonna have to, if she's not taking these lessons that she's learning along the way, she's gonna find herself in the same type of relationship where she got people feeling like they're not good enough, or they can live up to her standards, or, you know, trying to meet things on her timeline versus just letting things happen organically, if that makes sense. And then Lindy and Miguel, yeah, I think they just I think once the cameras leave, and I just have a feeling Miguel just gonna be blowing up left and right after the cameras are gone. Like, I think he's been very, very much contained. And after that, it's just going to be no good. And Lindy is not going to, she's going to be in such an emotional state where she just too fragile and can't handle it anymore and leave as well. Like I feel like by the reunion they'll be done over with. But anyways, just my thoughts, my opinions. I want to hear from y'all. What do y'all think? Who do you think is gonna make it? Who do you think is not? Did y'all get much out of this episode? I did. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all. And as always, I'll pray for you. You all please pray for me. And what? Bye, y'all.